Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Looks like January, and it's going to feel even more like it tonight with our coldest temperatures in nearly a year. Find out where we go and the snow we're expecting for next week.
It's the decision so many were waiting for. Governor Whitmer allows restaurants to reopen their dining rooms, but it comes with new conditions.
But we begin with breaking news. The man in charge of many of Michigan's coronavirus mandates has suddenly resigned. Robert Gordon, director of the State Department of Health and Human Services, announced late this afternoon he'd be stepping down from his post.
But he gave no explanation as to why. Jason Colthorpe is live with what we know so far. Jason.
Boy, we really don't know much other than this was unexpected, Kim, and that what wasn't said today is getting more attention than what was. This all began when Robert Gordon tweeted just before 3 o'clock this afternoon, "I am resigning from the Whitmer administration. It's been an honor to serve alongside wonderful colleagues. I look forward to the next chapter." No direct reference to the governor herself, and it came just hours after he signed the latest order regarding restaurants you heard a little bit about, and you're going to hear more about in a minute. Then came a press release from the governor's office shortly after appointing Gordon's chief deputy, Elizabeth Hertel, as the new director of HHS. And the only reference in this long press release to Gordon was at the very end, and it just simply said that he had resigned and the governor had accepted it. Then about an hour ago, the governor tweeted the news and included the line, "I am grateful to Director Gordon for his service." And that came after several media inquiries to the governor's office asking why Gordon stepped down. Was he asked to step down? So tonight we have many more questions, and the governor's office is giving answers on that. Reporting live, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Okay, Jason, and Gordon was noticeably missing from today's press conference where the governor announced she was easing some COVID restrictions.
Yep, this morning the governor gave restaurants the green light to open for indoor dining on February 1st. That'll be a week from Monday, but there will still be limited capacity, a new curfew, and rules for contact tracing. Let's bring in Grant Herms. The news that a lot of restaurateurs have been hoping for, even with its restrictions, Grant.
And it's not just restaurants, it's also places like bowling alleys, movie theaters, and casinos where their concessions had to be closed or their indoor restaurants had to be closed. It's certainly a welcome sign for thousands of people who have struggled with that back and forth closure order of restaurants this past year.
Today, the Department of Health and Human Services is issuing an epidemic order to resume indoor dining on Monday, February 1st.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer making an announcement thousands have waited months to hear. Indoor dining back open in Michigan. The state today outlining new key guidelines like 25% seated service only, limiting 6 people to a table, and indoor service must end by 10 p.m. Restaurants and bars will also have to collect contact tracing information, but will be allowed to enclose their outdoor dining spaces and have access to the new COVID Safer Dining program, connecting them to contractors to upgrade ventilation. The governor asking the state legislature for $10 million to help fund it. The Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association calling the new order overdue and urging to get restaurant workers further to the front of the vaccine line, saying in a statement, there is no more important step the governor can take to get Michigan's economy back on track than restoring public confidence in Michiganders' ability to safely dine and travel. But after the discovery of the new, more contagious COVID strain in the state, Michigan's chief medical officer warning those who may be most at risk.
The safest thing to do, especially if you are elderly, if you have underlying medical conditions, or if you live with someone who's elderly or has underlying medical conditions, the safest thing to do is to not eat inside a restaurant.
The Republicans today criticized this new order, saying they want an increase from the governor on that capacity size and they want her to do away with that 10 p.m. curfew. In a statement, the GOP party chair Laura Cox said earlier this afternoon that the governor, quote, continues to cripple restaurants with restrictions that are not rooted in science and only serve to kick businesses while they are down. In Devon, it's worth pointing out that numerous studies have shown, including studies from the U of M, that there is a link between the spread of the disease and indoor dining.
Now, Grant, the big worry for a lot of restaurants has been the back and forth between open, then being closed again. Are they fearing another shutdown after this order's over?
Well, the governor certainly didn't rule another shutdown out during that press conference today. Right now, the state's big 3 numbers, that's case rate, positivity rate, and hospitalizations, all trending in the right direction. But should that change, we do know that closing indoor dining rooms has been a tool that again and again has shown a decrease in the number of cases. The governor's office saying today they're hoping that people follow these precautions this time around so that we don't have to do another shutdown later.
All right, Grant.
Okay, now to the state's coronavirus numbers. Michigan is reporting 2,157 new cases and 17 more deaths. Today, President Biden turns his attention to Americans who've paid a terrible financial price during the pandemic.
He is signing executive orders to expand food stamp program and raising the minimum wage for federal workers, even as his administration prods Congress to pass a nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill. Let's bring in Alice Barr, who has the latest from Capitol Hill. Alice.
Devin and Kimberly, President Biden has made it clear that tackling the pandemic is his top priority. Today, zeroing in on the economic effects. President Biden today turning his attention to the pandemic's devastating economic toll.
Families are going hungry. People are at risk of being evicted. Job losses are mounting again. We need to act.
The new president signing 2 executive orders to expand food assistance and address worker safety and move toward increasing federal workers' minimum wage to $15 an hour. President Biden using the actions as a bridge to the nearly $2 trillion rescue package he wants Congress to approve. That price tag, a bridge too far for many Republicans.
I don't think his bill's going to make it, but we need to do something.
Hopes for bipartisanship face a looming hurdle. Word today that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will send the article of impeachment against former President Trump to the Senate on Monday, triggering the start of a trial as early as next week.
It will be a full trial. It will be a fair trial.
The Senate's top Republican accusing House Democrats of rushing the process.
The sequel cannot be an insufficient Senate process that denies former President Trump his due process.
The Biden administration hoping its urgent agenda won't be bogged down by the constitutional showdown. In one act of bipartisanship, the Senate voted 93-2 today to confirm the country's first black Secretary of Defense, retired 4-star Army General Lloyd Austin. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, the Biden administration has not, by the way, provided a timeline for getting its proposed relief package through.
All right, let's get over to Ben, who says we're in for the coldest night in nearly a year.
Yeah, guys, if you thought today's drop was going to be it, there's more to go. We've got to fall a little bit further off that cliff, but Storm Tracker 4 showing that we do have just a couple flakes left. Those are going to wind down, and you can see those clouds that are out there now are going to start breaking, but when that happens at night, that allows those temperatures to drop. We're in the low to mid 20s right now, but the wind chills are already in single digits in places, and you can see that temperature bar going down, down, down tonight into the teens, and the recovery tomorrow, not all that impressive. We'll stay south of 30 degrees again, and the impacts just keep piling up. We've got snow chances this weekend, but especially next week. Tuesday's big impact from some significant snow. We'll look at that and how much we're expecting in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Ben, thank you. Michigan ushered in a new era of gambling today.
As of noon today, you can place a bet on sports teams or play a hand of blackjack online. Expected, of course, to be a big moneymaker for casinos, but also for the state and the city of Detroit. Rod Maloney is live at the MGM Casino with how all of this is going to work. Rod.
Well, Devin, you could think of this as the COVID relief plan for the gambling industry, because you're going to be able to gamble using your phone from any place, the comfort of your home or pretty much anywhere else, in your car even. But here's the thing. Each one of these apps that you download is going to end up working with one of the casinos that is based here in Michigan. The first thing you need to know about this online gaming business is you're going to be giving the casinos a lot of your personal information. To sign up, they all require allowing them to GPS track your phone to make certain you're betting from inside the state border. Some want your social security number. Then you can bet. Bookies.com gaming analyst and handicapper Dan Kilbridge, who comes from Michigan, offers advice for the uninitiated.
I would definitely recommend starting slow, researching as much as you can, and then getting into it. But certainly, being cautious is always good.
He advises doing a little research to see which app is best for your individual interests and tastes. Now, of course, the gaming companies are competing for your initial business, and Kilbridge says before jumping in, do a little shopping, too.
they add $50 to your account, and then you can wager that. If your bets win, you get to keep all the profits. If the bets lose, then you don't lose anything. You're just back to where you were before.
But if you're feeling emboldened with bonus points or cash and you think you know sports, understand money lines, point spreads, over-unders, and parlays, Kilbridge says in the gambling world, you probably should think again.
Be careful of the big parlays, because I know they're popular and I know they get a lot of attention, particularly on social media. But once you get into the huge range of teams, it's really a shot in the dark and very difficult, especially for beginners.
Now, Kilbridge tells me it is amazing the number of sports, the number of things you can bet on, the ways you can bet, in-game betting and the like. He says it's really incredible, but he also says there's real money at play here. You got to be very careful, and he says you don't want to gamble more than you can afford to. Back to you.
So right, Rod, but the state is in charge now of all of this, and I'm wondering if we've had any warnings about concerns about the ramp up today.
Well, the Attorney General herself said, look, if you're going to get into this online gaming thing, you should spend the time, and instead of just clicking and moving past it, to read the fine print, because there are bonus points and things like that. But we're talking real money here. You can lose a lot of money quickly, and even the bonus points you get are an issue. You need to know precisely what you're getting into before you do that final click.
So, right, buyer beware. All right, Rod.
All right, some sad news to report from the sports world as baseball legend Hank Aaron has died at the age of 86. Nicknamed Hammerin' Hank, he's known as one of the greatest players of all time and a man who broke barriers.
A childhood hero of mine. He played professionally for 22 seasons from 1954 to 1976. He remains the all-time leader in runs batted in and total bases, and his 755 career home runs is second on the all-time list. Tonight at 6, Rod Maloney will be back with a talk with a Grosse Pointe Woods man who says Hank Aaron treated him like a son. Boy, he was something else, Hammerin' Hank. Much more coming up on this Friday.
Yeah, let's check in with Hank Winchester.
You may soon see some big changes here at the site of the Green Ooze investigation in Madison Heights. I'm Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank. I'll tell you what's happening here and what could happen soon in the future.
And there's growing concern around the world about the new highly contagious strain of coronavirus as we're learning more cases here in Metro Detroit. We hear from experts about whether vaccines can curb the spread.
But first, a man out for a walk is mauled by 4 big dogs. You'll hear from neighbors who jumped in to get the animals to stop attacking when we come right back.